Welcome back into that Sean podcast. I be that dude, the big Ush. There's that guy, the Cat Daddy. Cat Daddy, what's on your mind? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's indirect, not at all. Well, yeah. I guess so. I thought you were saying in terms of because I just don't think these football owners want to risk what these baseball owners feel that they're going to risk. Seriously. Not to mention, let's be honest. We can look into whose blueprint works the best. Well, what it seems like, and maybe you could say, oh, well, it's the product, but it seems like the blueprint also probably works the best for the NFL. It's probably the best blueprint to make sure that teams are competitive and make sure teams can't tank. And that's the thing, baseball, apparently they tank. Basketball, we know for a fact they tank. Go back to Trust the Process, Philadelphia. Hockey, I don't know, maybe they tank. And they try to make sure they don't tank by doing these lotto type situations. Well, football doesn't do those lotto situations. And you know something? It doesn't help the teams not doing it. That's the thing. More times than not, football teams that are on the lower end can become something than, let's say, in baseball or basketball or even hockey. Well, it's on top of that. It's a sole fact that, yeah, I get it. Each team wants to make its own money. Well, football did away with that in some aspects because the TV money's all shared. So in football, if you want to make your own money, it's all on merchandising. It's all on ticket sales in terms of going to the stadiums. All these other sports, basketball, baseball, and hockey all have this situation where you still only get certain market games and they're still not sharing the pie the way they should. They still don't have an actual salary cap, which they should. And they definitely, for baseball, and this is the big deal that people don't know about baseball, and we're not going to get into it because we're a football pod, but there's no salary floor. In football, there's a salary cap, and people don't realize there is a salary floor. There is an amount of money that you have to spend yearly in the NFL. So long. Ridiculous. Nonsense. Seriously. I tried to do fantasy basketball and fantasy hockey. And yes, just like you said, it lost me after maybe half the season because it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Seriously. You know what your player did, and your player's done. All right, moving on though. So we're going to get into these fifth-year options, possible franchise tags, and let's talk about the fifth-year options real quick. Has anybody actually been like had their fifth-year option picked up? I saw it. I didn't really read it because that's a lot of words. Well, it was along those lines. It's like, oh, I want to win the championship here, and I want to make this happen. Yada yada yada. Bullshit. But
Another week of off
I
season
want to be
NFL
one.
action.
I
People
want
think
you
that
to
just
want
because
me.
the season ends and there's no more games to be played, there's no more action. And that could be further from the truth because we had a surprise retirement this week. We had some international games
Ooh.
announced. We have the finalists for the NFL Draft City, whichever city is going to host in 2024. And I mean, not football related, but indirectly football related, could be the Major League Baseball is in the process of a lockout. They're starting to cancel games. It could be good for football because the
Mm-hmm.
longer baseball goes on hold and locks out, guess what? That gives you guys more time to watch us, learn about the draft.
Franchise. Well, on top of that, let's just look at this. Has Lamar signed?
Nah, these baseball owners are greedy. Mm-hmm. Good luck to them.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right.
Yeah,
They've been
right now
lackluster.
football's on the right track because with the draft and all the festivities, and we can get into some more detail with that in our college combine episode, but the NFL is becoming a year-round program. What's baseball? Baseball's what, April
And you're already
through
getting attitude here? Come on
what,
now. Come on
October?
now. Get out
November
of
is when
here
the
with
World
that
Series
noise.
is.
That is something. Well, all right. So moving on from Kyler, there is some news. There is some news from a different team with a different quarterback that we have heard. There is a quarterback that was picked in the first round of this draft, which the team has decided not to exercise the fifth-year option, which I think is very telling. Even though this same team says they're not drafting a quarterback, I don't know how much I can, trust that at this given juncture, considering they're not picking up the fifth-year option on their current quarterback. And that would be Daniel Jones of the New York Giants.
Yeah, and sometimes I think, along with what could be considered the uneven playing field with really no cap, no floor, but the baseball season is so long. It's 162 games. I remember trying to do that for fantasy years ago, doing fantasy baseball, and you trying to set your
But I don't
lineup.
agree with
In some
them
leagues where I
holding on to
think
them.
daily
Just
adjustments where you
draft
can
a
change your
quarterback. You're
roster
drafting
daily.
high enough.
Other ones have the right track of doing like weekly adjustments, but man, 162 games. That's a lot to keep up with. Football is nice. Sure, it spans over several months, but guess what? You're only playing one game a week.
Now, looking at this list,
Yeah, those are 82 game
I
seasons.
like some of these players.
I mean, they're half what
Fifth-year
baseball is,
options
but
I'd be picking up.
that's
I'm
still a
looking
lot,
at it.
especially when you're doing like
Let's see.
daily updates and whatnot. Yeah, that's why I like football. One game a week.
Yes.
It's like a chess match, and you have 11 on 11 on the
Yes.
field. And that's what
Move
you
on.
got. It's strategy, and I love it. I know there's
I would, but it's tough.
Yep, and that's why baseball is dead to me.
I'd pick it up. I'd actually pick it up and I'd try to trade him. Because you're giving somebody like a year, 2 years, or a year and a
I
half
don't
rental.
think
Like by the
any
trade
of have
deadline,
been exercised
next
yet.
season, if
The
he's
closest,
playing
I
well,
think, would
I'd
be
try
the
to
number
trade
one
him.
pick in the 2019 draft,
No, dude, move
Kyler
on.
Murray. But did you see the statement that came out from Kyler Murray's agent this week?
Right. So move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page with that
We've already
because
talked about Daniel Jones.
Kyler Murray just finishes his third season in the league, and he
Absolutely.
wants this long-term commitment from the Arizona Cardinals.
Absolutely.
But he's going about it the wrong way because he and his agent are doing it
This is the same
publicly
with
through
Quinn
media,
Williams.
through social media.
He's played well,
And earlier
but
this
he
week,
hasn't been awesome.
the agent puts out this memo publicly, and it was really long. It was written all in caps, and really I just read the bold prints, which was just saying he has desire to be a long-time,
Or pick it
long-term
up.
Arizona Cardinal.
Or pick it up
But
and
he
trade.
wants to be paid. At least I think that's what it says, because like you,
All right,
I didn't
next
read the
one,
entire
absolutely
thing.
not. Devin
And
Bush.
someday I
No.
will, but not today. Maybe one of these nights when I have trouble
Absolutely
sleeping,
not.
I'll go back and I'll try and read the whole
Absolutely
thing.
not. You have to. Absolutely. He came on so
Yeah.
strong.
And in the best way that I heard the letter described, and I cannot get it out of my head now, and I think it's fabulous, but it was a hostage
Yes,
letter
he's
to
been very
the
good.
organization. That Kyler
No.
wants to be there. The ball's in Arizona's court. They got to pay him the money
Don't even
because
have to
he's
talk
going into
about
his fourth year in the
15.
league. And
He's
I
not
think his
even on the
fourth year is
team.
going to pay him like $5 million, and he doesn't want to be paid only $5 million
Second
for the
best
year.
pick of this whole draft.
Well, I got good news and bad news for you, Kyler. You
No.
just finished your third season, right? Arizona can control your rights for another 4 years.
Actually, yes.
They got
He's
your
been
fourth
very
year, they can exercise a fifth-year option, and then after that, they can franchise tag you for 2 consecutive years.
He's still been very good, actually.
No, he's actually in his
Jeffrey
fifth year
Simmons.
right now.
Oh,
He's
yes.
representing himself. He has not signed.
No.
So
He's been
if
good.
I were Kyler's agent,
No.
I would be like,
They've got
hey,
other
buddy,
tight
let's hit
ends
the
that have
pause
just been
button on this.
moved in
Let's
just
see what
as
Lamar
productive. They've got
Jackson
other
gets paid.
receivers.
Because
No.
we saw a couple people
No,
get
you've
paid,
already got
$42
too much
million
money
last
tied up
offseason.
in.
I think it was
what is
Josh
it,
Allen,
Cortland
Dak
Sutton
Prescott got in
and
that range.
Patrick.
Hey, let's see what Lamar Jackson gets, and then let's go to the negotiating table with Arizona. Because to my knowledge, any quarterback who's received a big extension before playing their fourth year,
Darnell Savage, I'm going to defer to
if
you
I remember correctly,
because
they got these extensions done before the season started.
That's what I was thinking.
Closer to when the season started. They got it done during summertime, leading up to the season. They're not sitting here
And
end of
next, I've
February,
got
beginning of
1,
March, saying
2,
we demand
4
to get paid
no's
$40 million.
right in a row.
And why do you demand to get
Well, no.
paid $40 million?
No,
Because
3
this
no's
is,
in a
I
row.
think, the last point I'll
I
have on
do
Kyler
4,
Murray real quick.
but I
This
know
should
the
be the
team's
last
going
one.
to take one of these.
But
So
what has he
I do all
done
4
to deserve to
right
be
in a row,
paid $40 million by the Arizona Cardinals? Because if I remember correctly, his first 3 years have been good, but
and I would
the
decline
second half of
Marquise
his
Brown, but
seasons
they will pick
have
it up.
concluded exactly. They
Why?
haven't finished strong. So you're going to give me a
Absolutely.
good 8 to 10 games, and you're going to fade off as the season ends.
That
He
does
not
better last year,
inspire me
but
to
he
give
hasn't.
you $40
The other
million
years he
plus
hasn't been good.
per year.
So I don't know.
And I heard recently that Arizona wants Kyler to, I guess, work on some of those leadership skills, because it came out that he actually took himself out of the playoff game against St. Louis when they were winning. He refused to go back in late in the game when it was already out of hands.
Absolutely.
It was his decision not to go back into that game. So if I'm Steve Keim, if I'm sitting there saying, okay, well, you want $40 million from me, what am I getting from you?
Just
All right,
making
but
sounds on
Kyler.
the pod. Oh, you want me to laugh again? Do you want me to laugh again with 31? Do you really? In the same draft? Absolutely not. I mean, no, his career is salvageable, but absolutely no. No way. No way. Well, it's because it's absolutely obvious with most of this. Well, we disagreed maybe
Yes,
on
New York,
what,
especially
Noah
with the new
Fant?
head coach, the new general manager, they need one more season to see if Daniel
I think
Jones
that's
is
it.
going to be the guy.
Because we
And that
both
fifth year
agreed
option for
with
him
what
is going to
we
be like
do
20
with
plus
Hollywood
million.
Brown.
And I agree with New York. I would not exercise that fifth year option.
Hey, it happens sometimes.
Hey,
Yeah,
we
and
don't
like
know
my
if they
idea of,
will. This
tag
is
and trade.
smokescreen season. GMs and coaches are talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're not letting on to any plans that they have. They could take quarterbacks
Now,
with the number 5
moving
and the
on
number
from
7
these,
pick
let's
for all
go
we
to
know.
the franchise
Maybe that's part of
tag.
their plan. Let's double down the quarterbacks, and
So
let's
I'm gonna
actually
go
get a
down
good
this
one.
list.
Who knows? But
Number 1 free agents, to be free agents. Now, we're going to go with a little game that you're going to play.
all right,
we're gonna go
let's run through them real
franchise.
quick. If you're Arizona, do you
Not
exercise
franchise.
Kyler Murray?
Would
Yes,
like
I agree.
to, but
Nick Bosa,
don't
number
see
2.
it
Do you exercise Nick? No brainer. Number 3, Quinnen Williams.
and what?
I had
you
the
can go
same
into both.
pause when I came across Quinnen.
And
He
to
hasn't
start
been the
you
most
off with
consistent,
just a
but it's not a bad
doozy.
price tag for one more year before
We're
you
gonna
want to
start
see if you
off
want to keep
with
him on your team.
Arguably
So
the
I
best
would.
wide
I
receiver
would.
in the National Football League, Devontae
Ooh.
Adams.
All right. I like where you're going with that.
Can they though?
Number 4 pick was Cleveland Farrell. And it's funny because in the 4th round, the Raiders actually selected a better edge in Max Crosby. So decline. Number 5, Devin White. Yeah, no brainer. All right, number 7, Josh Allen.
I've heard
Yep.
the argument.
8,
Yep.
T.J. Hawkinson.
It's not about letting though.
Yep.
That's
Number
the thing.
9, Ed Oliver.
They're gonna have to do a lot of gymnastics. I'll tell you that. Speaking
If
of the
I were
Saints,
Buffalo,
you want
seeing
to
their history of
segue.
drafting defensive
Speaking
line,
of the Saints,
I would say decline.
Teron
If you're going to keep
Armstead.
drafting that defensive line talent, why
21
keep
years
him around
old,
for another year
which
at
is
10
not
million?
super old
So
for a
that would be a
tackle.
decline for me.
So what do we do here?
Just like Quinnen Williams. All right, let's see. Number 10, we have Devin Bush.
Well, we're not
He had a
there yet.
good
We'll
rookie season.
get there.
Second year, third year came down.
So this
I'm
is
not going to fight that one.
can't.
Yep, number 11,
Would
Jonah
like
Williams.
to, but you just can't.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Number 12 was Rashawn Gary.
Next up,
Yes.
another complex situation.
And especially with the possibility that Za'Darius
Chris
and or
Godwin,
Preston Smith
wide
could be out of the
receiver,
building.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah,
Only
you gotta keep
26
him.
years old.
13, Christian Wilkins. Yeah, I like Wilkins too. 14, Chris Lindstrom. No, I decline that too. 15, he's not even eligible. Yeah, he's not even eligible for it.
What
So
do
we'll
you
skip past that
prioritize
fella.
Because you
Brian
got some
Burns.
other stuff happening with this
No
team.
brainer.
The
All
offensive
right,
line.
and we got number 17,
and
Dexter
you got
Lawrence.
a lot of money tied up in
No,
other places.
Giants really whiffed on all of their first round picks in this draft. Let's see, 18, Garrett Bradbury.
And also, you have to do something about quarterback.
I could go either way with that one. New coaching staff, new GM. There's no guarantees. So, no, okay. 19,
All right,
no
we'll
brainer.
see.
Number
Next
20,
one.
Noah Fant. You
Well,
wouldn't?
this one should be a no-brainer. Allen Robinson. Rude.
I would say yes for Noah Fant just because his fifth-year option is only a little over $6.5 million. It's not that bad of an amount. He's made an impact in the pass game. I would accept it. I would exercise it.
Rude.
All right.
All right, next up. Moving on.
I'm going to
Well,
decline the option.
Von Miller.
I don't think he's given consistent performance
33
and
years
value for the
old.
package, so I'd say decline that
I
one.
think he's going to be a free agent. I think they'd love to keep him, but there's no way they can.
I've got
Yeah, I want a lot of things too.
I would decline Andre Dillard. I would decline Titus Howard. I would decline Josh Jacobs.
Well, on
That's
top
what I'm
of Aaron
thinking.
Donald.
That's what I'm thinking.
No one's signing.
And then we have Montez. What? I
What's
say
your deal?
yes.
I'm sorry,
Jonathan
but like,
Abram.
you talk about tone deaf. Some of these players that come out and say these things, Aaron Donald, you're already getting paid buku bucks.
I would say
And you're
decline
gonna
because
expect
he's had a
Von
couple
Miller
of shoulder
to take a pay
injuries.
cut to
And
stay with
for a
you.
guy who
Get
plays a
outta
lot in
here.
the box and
How
close
about
to
you
the line,
restructure,
you need
take
those
some less
shoulders.
money and give Vaughn some of that
So
money. Give
I would
Odell
say
some of that money.
No, I think
If
the Raiders
not,
can pick up a
shut your
better
mouth.
safety in the draft or something.
I'm sorry. He's
Then
great
we have
player,
28,
but
Jerry
one
Tillery.
thing players should never
I
do
think, yes,
is
he's
speak on
improved
another
each
player's
season.
situation, regardless.
Number
if you
29,
want somebody
LJ
back. Yeah,
Collier.
I bet you do want
Number
him back.
30 doesn't apply as well because he was released. Number
Speaking of another player,
31 was
on
Caleb.
the edge there. We got Chandler Jones, another guy
That's
getting a
the-
little long in the tooth.
That's the second miss that the Falcons had on the offensive line in the first
Arizona.
rounds.
I think they just let him
In the
walk.
same
I don't
draft.
think you tag him.
And then
they're
Nikhil
getting
Harry.
younger.
Yeah.
I don't know. They got some younger guys.
No,
maybe
the
look to
price tag
draft.
for
This
his
is a
fifth year, I
deep
think,
pass
is
rushing
over
class.
11 million. I wouldn't do it. Get out of here. So we're on the same page, I think, with most of these fifth-year options.
Mhm.
Yeah, we disagreed on fonts, and then
This next one's funny.
Yeah,
It's funny.
we're pretty much on the same
J.C.
page with this. We
Jackson,
have the same brainwave.
cornerback, New England Patriots, only 26 years old.
It happens.
Called
It
himself
happens.
Mr.
So
INT gonna
it
get
was
paid,
a
huh?
fifth year.
Well, Mr. INT gonna get franchised.
Yeah, get the value out of him. Someone's gonna like him. Someone's gonna sign him at some point. All right.
They can't do it 2 years in a row, can they?
Mm-hmm.
But they can't do it 2 years in a row. They can't tag a guy and just do nothing with him 2 years in a row. They did it with Stephon Gilmore. Are they gonna do it again? It just, and with a young.
Is this
I mean,
is this what I
basically,
would do,
top
or
five
what I
corner in the league?
predict teams will do?
If not the best. No.
At a minimum, I think Devontae Adams will be franchise tagged, and here they can franchise tag him. They have to get under the cap by March 16th when the new league season begins, so they can do
Speaking of
any
another
moves
guy
they
that
want
should
now, and then they can work on
probably
freeing
should
up
have been
space
franchised
afterwards.
already.
But I think
Or
you
signed
tag him
the Kansas City
because
Chiefs.
if Green Bay lets him
I have
walk in free
Orlando
agency,
Brown,
all they're going to get is a
offensive
third
tackle,
round
only
compensatory
26
pick
years
for him,
old.
and that's
This
nothing.
makes
Yeah,
zero
and
sense.
then-
After that Super Bowl where you got lit up,
They can free up space.
you're not gonna.
We've seen what
basically
the Saints have
franchise
done the past couple of
tackle.
years to
What is
magically
going on?
get under the cap.
Make it make sense, Sean. Make it make sense.
You're welcome. They
No joke.
they can't tag him. His contract has void years into it. They can't tag him, so he's not eligible. They could try and tag Marcus Williams or safety, but we're gonna hold off. Okay. To my understanding, they can't, and I don't think they have any chance at a long-term deal with them.
Wow, my understanding is he's probably pretty much gone, but we'll get there.
I think this is a
All right,
situation
now
where they're
we're at
going to
Marcus
get
Williams,
a deal
safety
done
out of
with
New
Godwin to
Orleans.
avoid the
Only
tag, but if
25
that
years
can't
old.
happen, then I think the tag is... Oh...
And they're looking to
Yeah.
re-sign Jamies.
And then Carlton Davis, probably their best cornerback, is also set to hit the market. Ooh. I know. Oh man, I would sign Chris Godwin to a
This next
long-term
one,
contract and
almost
avoid the
guarantee
tag
he's gonna
altogether.
get, either franchised or re-signed. He's young. He's played very well. His team has a lot of money, and that is Mike Williams of the Las
Allen Robinson, they've already
Angeles Chargers.
applied the tag once. If
27
they
years
did
old. He's
again, I
played
think it
very
would
well.
cost
He's
them
got a nice
north
rapport
of
with,
$20 million.
Justin
So
Herbert and
it
the
makes
Chargers have a
no
lot of
sense
cap
for
space.
management and coaching staff, a new one coming in, to tag a guy that you have no experience with. And if they tagged him, they would be the most. I think I described it as tone deaf thing. Yeah.
But we agree. He's either getting signed or he's getting franchise tag. Doesn't
Aaron
matter.
Donald
Joshua Palmer
wants to
doesn't
run
have
it
the
back,
same-
and he wants Von Miller and Odell Beckham
Joshua
Jr.
Palmer
back
doesn't
in
have the same
town.
talent. You know this.
Now, Vaughn Right. You could tag Vaughn, but Vaughn's already expressed, I think, that he wants to
All right,
test
next
free
up,
agency.
their
So if
aforementioned
you tag him, that
Carlton
could
Davis,
really create a tense
25,
relationship between the
cornerback,
two.
Tampa Bay.
So
Sure. Sure. I believe you. What's that old song? Okay, I believe you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. We're going to go through and do some of these other ones a little quicker. One of your guys, Jesse Bates III, safety, Cincinnati, 25 years old. Had a rough season last year, but had a bomb playoffs. I think they tag him. I do. He's young. He can bounce back, and that playoffs was enough.
yeah, he made your job easier. Absolutely.
Randy Gregory, Dallas Cowboys. He will not get tagged, but he will get re-signed by the Dallas Cowboys. I pretty much guarantee this. I will say this: Randy is 29, but he hasn't played all that much to wear down his body.
I don't think it makes a lot
and
of
he has
sense for
been a
Arizona to
physical
tag him. He was
freak
productive.
when he
He
comes
was
in, so this is
already,
gonna be,
but he was already
believe
one of
it
the
or
highest
not,
paid edge
his
rushers,
first
and now he's
full
32 and
offseason.
he's looking for a contract extension. I don't think he gets it from Arizona. So you could try and get him on a long-term deal,
Well,
but
marijuana is not a thing
age
anymore,
isn't on his
so he is
side, and
good
if
to go.
he gets, yeah, yeah.
Clowney, neither. He's not going to take that discount rate, and Cleveland needs him to. And he played very
The
well.
funny thing is, like you hear the talk of New England hasn't
True.
even approached J.C. Jackson about a long-term
There's somebody
extension
somewhere.
or agreement. I'm
Taco
thinking,
Charlton.
man,
It's
Bill
Stephon
Belichick.
Gilmore. I don't think
He
they
doesn't like
retain him. They've got some
overspending.
young
I
corners
mean, we
there.
saw what he did this
I
last
don't
year in
think they
free
retain
agency,
him. I
just
really
shelling out
don't.
money. But at some point,
Well, they kept getting injured. Henderson wasn't up to speed. Horn got injured. Another one got injured. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
yep. I mean, he showed how
Odell
well
can't. I
he
just
played and how
don't.
good he
I don't
was
think the Rams have the
after
resources.
Stephon Gilmore left town. So it wasn't as if he was doing better because Gilmore was opposite of him. He definitely proved himself as a CB1. If it were me, I
Brandon
would
Sharif.
franchise
Hopefully
and
he's a free
work on a
agent.
long-term deal.
Hopefully
But that would
Washington
have to be
doesn't.
the
I
end
know.
goal, a long-term
I
deal.
know.
With none of those talks occurring
It's
yet,
rude.
and if he's coming off
And it's
the
so
or
rude.
not coming off
He's
franchise
worth
tag,
it,
but
but so rude.
if New England
Um,
just tags and lets the guy walk, then man, he's gonna
Ain't
walk.
that the truth? And Trent Williams didn't even allow him to get there. We're not going to talk about Jamie's. Tyrann we already kind of talked about. Let's jump down the list here. Let's go to Hassan Reddick. I think so. I do. He overachieved for them.
Yeah, I'm a little confused too because after they brought him over from the trade, they
All right.
gave up several
Down the list
draft
again, we
picks
got two
to
tight
acquire
ends
him. And I
here.
know they sent a
Dalton
couple
Schultz
draft
and Mike
picks in
Gesicki.
return, or they got a couple
One
draft
or
picks in return.
possibly both
But
of
he
these
ended up
guys
on
that
the
could
losing
happen.
side when it comes to the draft capital. But he was in the final year of his contract.
There
I don't know
is some
why an
rumblings that
extension
they're
already
looking
hadn't
into
been
it.
locked up before we got to this point. And
Which
you
tells
have
me
to
they're not
tag him,
keeping Cooper,
otherwise
and
he
they're
was
gonna,
a one-year rental
tag
who
Schultz. They're looking at
just
wide receivers
fails
in the draft.
because you didn't get to the
Telling you.
Super Bowl. You didn't get to the
I
point
know they
where
want to
he
bring
was going to
Gallup
pay
back,
off.
but I almost
So I'm a
guarantee
little
that
surprised
they're
that
gonna take a
Kansas
wide
City
receiver in
hasn't
the
committed
first
to him
round.
already. But
First
at
or
this
second
point, you
round in
tag
this
him and then
draft.
work on a long-term deal.
from
then
the
that's going
rumblings
to
I hear.
affect your ability to keep other players like Tyrann Mathieu.
And well, they might just let him go. I'm just saying that just to save the money to try to get, because my understanding is they might try to get Connor
I
Williams
know,
back.
but the
If
Saints
they
are
get Connor Williams
still
back, then they're not going to be
50,
looking at
60
O-line,
million
which means they're going
over
to be
the
going
cap.
for a
I don't
receiver.
think they're in a position to
It makes
franchise
sense
tag
in essence
anybody.
because as much as I think
And
Cooper is
with
awesome, receiver talent
with Sean
is just getting
Payton leaving,
flooded into the NFL
it's
year
like
after
the,
year.
the Saints are hitting a reset button, even though they don't want to admit it. I think they're going to hit a reset button because you have to get the most important position. You have to get that quarterback locked down, and you need money to do it. Taysom Hill, not the guy.
I've got 3 more players for you, and then we're all done with the franchise. Just 3 more. Actually, 4. I'm gonna go 4 more. Harold Landry,
He
edge,
looked.
Tennessee,
He
only
was good
26
last
years
year,
old. This should be a
but
no-brainer.
then the Chargers also saw the
There's no one else for them to
inconsistency
tag.
that he had, and I mean, the Chargers could apply the tag, give him 1 more year before working on
Which was a mistake.
long-term deal.
And this is the better player. I don't care. This is the better player.
In real life,
know
he
it.
should be for fantasy football purposes. I say no because I picked up
All right.
Joshua Palmer toward the end of the season, and I want to try and keep him
All right,
for
next
the
up,
late round. Get some
James
sort of,
Conner,
no.
running back,
Oh
Arizona.
no.
What do you
But
do?
if I can keep a guy like
What do you
Joshua
do?
Palmer becomes a wide receiver 2 in the 30th round,
He was one of
or
your
a late
best
round, I'm
players.
going to do it.
This team was far better with Connor in the lineup than Edmonds. Just saying. All right, another one which I know you've been
If
a
the
little
Bucks are able to
outspoken
sign
about.
Chris Godwin to a long-term
Marcus
deal,
May,
then
safety,
lock
New York Jets.
franchise
I
tag
did not
Carlton
realize
Davis.
How old he was.
They
Holy cow.
they can't let him hit the open market. They
29.
can't let him walk.
I did too. He must have came in the league older. I got one more for you just for fun. Just the just for just s and giggles.
Yeah,
Just a
they saw the
reaction.
impact of
It
the
shouldn't set
playoffs,
you
and he
off.
was a good
It's just a
safety.
fun one. It's more of a
The
fantasy.
regular season just
Should they
happened to be a
tag him?
down season at the wrong time for him.
Cordero
But for him, it's
Patterson,
good that the Bengals
running
advanced so
back,
far in the playoffs. He
utility
can
wide
showcase more
receiver
of his
out
skills and
of
abilities. So
Atlanta.
tag him, work on a long-term deal.
I knew it. I knew it. But he's not a running back. He's kinda, but not really. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get you with this one. About time.
Yeah, you're mentioning that he played on the field, and the key word, when. When he's on the field.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is. He would be.
So, yeah, work on a long-term deal, but I wouldn't tag him.
He is.
He did well in Cleveland.
What, 3 years?
No, he was on a
25 mil?
one-year prove-it deal. He proved it. He's going to get more. He did. I mean, he had
15
Myles
guaranteed?
Garrett opposite of him, so who doesn't play well with Myles Garrett opposite?
But it's so rough because of how much he did for them. And if you did have him on your fantasy team,
Yeah. I don't understand all the
Did.
moves that Carolina made for cornerback last season.
oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
If they
Yep,
knew what they were
but
doing.
they're
if
all-
they
I mean,
had-
they're
if
going
they didn't
all
have
in.
Two offensive coordinators.
they were
I mean-
going all in.
Did I say so? I know they don't, and I know that
All in
that's
on
someone who
cornerback. But yeah,
has
I'm
people
with you. I
saying no
wouldn't tag him.
correctly. But that's all we're going through this time around. Cat Daddy, any
Odell,
words of wisdom?
no, especially coming off the injury so late in the season, it's going to take him a chunk of the season to get back to the point where get on the field. That wouldn't be worth it. They've already tagged him 2 consecutive years. I mean, if they tagged him again, that price tag would be astronomical for
My words of wisdom.
and rude.
Don't let
I
these
just got to point out real quick that
writers or
Washington's done
so-called
players
sports
dirty with that
writers or
franchise
sports
tag. Kirk
personalities gas you
Cousins,
up,
Brandon Scherf.
get you all
No,
excited,
oh man.
or get you all huff and huffy. I saw a headline just today. Was it Falcons looking to retain Matt Ryan? It's like, no crap. He's under contract. You just restructured him last year. They have no choice but to retain him. What are we talking about?
He
What are we
did.
talking about?
He
Stop
came on a
treating
one-year
people
deal.
like they're stupid.
Played so well on what's a pretty young Carolina defense. I would tag him and work on a long-term deal. I'm with you.
And they restructured him last year. Nonsense.
Do you think the Cowboys would tag Schultz? I would try and get Schultz for a long-term deal. And then we have... Whew. Well, we'll see if they can trade Cooper if that's the case. Get something in return for him. Yeah. And then you mentioned Gesicki as the second one for Miami. He's not, if you're thinking of what San Francisco did and how they used George Kittle did a lot of blocking, did receiving. Mike Gesicki doesn't block. He's pretty much like a really big wide receiver. But if I were Miami, I would tag him at least for this year. If it doesn't work out after this year, it doesn't work for Mike McDaniel's offense, let him walk. But you got to retain him for at least this year. I know there's nobody else for them to tag, but they just paid all that money to Bud Dupree to be an edge rusher. But they're still stuck with the money. They're still stuck paying him. Uh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that. His career year came at the best time, but I think it's going to be hard for the Titans to afford him. You don't tag a running back. Man, you don't tag a running back. I know. How old is he? Wow, I thought he was younger than that. Yeah, okay. I think he suffered the ruptured Achilles mid-season. Horrible timing with it coming into contract year. I don't think the Jets tag him though. Coming off the injury. Just to get my reaction or just to set me off? Which one? Which Okay. Man. And I just said you don't tag running backs. Uh, no. We'll put him in the category of offensive weapon flex. I mean, Arthur Smith unlocked the potential in Cordero Patterson that we haven't seen for how many years? Many, many years. He was able to do it. Oh, but is he a consistent piece in their offense moving forward? He's he's on the wrong side of 30. I don't know what that long-term contract would look like for him. Oh man, that'd be very good for him if he can get it. If I'm Atlanta, there's a lot of questions. I'm tempted to say no, just because we're. It is. It is. He is just like the ultimate utility weapon. I didn't, so But could you imagine someone like Miami signing Cordero Patterson? That'd be fun. That'd be real fun. Unless you hear it from us, don't believe anything that you hear. It's rumor season, it's smokescreen season. You can have head coaches, general managers saying all kinds of things that they really don't mean. Uh, so just listen to us. You're safe. It's just like Stephen Jones saying, I think Ezekiel Elliott's a good running back who's going to help us win. Really, he has a hefty contract that you can't get out of, so you have no other choice but to keep him on your roster.